pretty rare. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to see it. Of course, should be shifting away back towards the land, so Dynapop will definitely be in there.
And this is really interesting because Lights Out are a team that have, the only team pretty much in North America that likes to land on the East Coast consistently on Vikendi here. And that works out perfectly for them because historically in North America, we've seen very easternly shifts in the circle. But now this circle is not going to favor them whatsoever. It's going to be shifting all the way down to the southwest. The teams that like to land up in the north by Port and Zabava are going to be punished very heavily. G25, who've landed all the way up in the top east by, is it Trello? Trevello? Trevno is basically going to have to make their way across the entirety of this 6x6 map down to the southwest. And not only that, we can see on that first circle, you guys saw it earlier, 50% water, maybe even more than 50% water, which means that it's going to shift very hard back onto the mainland. And so teams going to have to set up around Abbey, going to have to set up around Dynapark, and potentially even Milner. We'll see if that's going to be coming into play here. But this is a really interesting circle, one that you don't see very often on Vikendi in the competitive scene. And so for us, as commentators and for people watching, this is great. This is something very new. For the players, this is the worst case way you could start off your regional finals tournament with a situation that you just don't get much time to practice for.
I'll tell you who's going to be very happy and who is going to continue their streak, because Misfits,
yeah,
they are in the circle. That is amazing luck for them because they are going to once more just be on that western coast. They are split up, though. They are in 2-2 around either side of, I believe, that's Blinded to Win, or Blinded by Win, sorry.
Yeah.
So they do have a little bit of a problem.
Blinded by Win sandwiched in a Misfits.
Yeah, they are pretty safe at the moment. They are pretty far apart from each other. Yeah. The rotation from Space Station Gaming will have to come in over the bridge through Volnova, which is going to be pretty tricky. They've got, I believe that's Ganya the Gaming.
Yep.
And also HQA in their way on that eastern side, which they will have to make their entrance through. As you said, G25 earlier on, they're over up in Trevno. They're going to be having to go all the way. They have the longest rotation by
already
far.
We're seeing VN1 make a rotation in vehicles into center circle here. So they've not actually looted much. They landed around the coal mine area. Normally where we see Nova land, the coal mine area. I don't believe Nova did land there though. Instead they went down towards Pavosto and got vehicles, and they're making an early rotation themselves into center circle. Wildcard did land in Pavosto, and they are going to make their rotation in vehicles. Actually, pretty much every team that has found vehicles is making their rotation now, as we see Cream shoot on down towards the rotating members of VN1. Just try and get some damage, but not going to be able to find a knock. Very thankful for VN1 that they managed to get out of that dire situation there. And of course, we do see from the North American players that they're moving in as many separate vehicles as possible to make sure that they don't get flushed out by a single spray from an M24, whatever it may be.
Oh yeah, I was just about to shout that out. Great movement discipline from pretty much everyone we can see here. They are splitting up. They are moving in separate vehicles, as you say, because if that vehicle gets blown up and you've got 3-4 members in there, you just go bang, and the whole team just explodes, and you lose so much. It's better to lose one to a spray down than it is to lose your whole squad. I mean, you know, that's just simple, right? There's no benefit to losing more members than when you could just be rotating in more vehicles and making it happen. But VN1, they've actually crashed into some members from Misfits. They've crashed into one of the duos. They're going to be pretty close by each other.
They are going to be, and you know what? What I want to know is, where does Nova end up here, John? A very sad performance from them on Sanok. Not the performance that their fans were looking for here, but in Vikendi, they've been the most consistent team across the group stages and the semi-finals, been putting up the most points per match on Vikendi. If it was a Vikendi-only tournament, then Nova would win it. And so that's good stuff for them. You know, that's a promising sign that they feel very comfortable in this beta map here, that they've got the most experience here in the PUBG scene when it comes to Vikendi. We do actually see Xenof, as you mentioned, was split off from his team. Does have a teammate very close by. I can't quite make out which one is next to him, but VN1 did just crash into their compound here. And looks like they're going to leave uncontested. So potentially they've have a scout moving somewhere else, and they've gone, actually, this is a better one for us. Percola's and Xenoff are actually going to get pretty lucky there that they don't get found out.
Wildcard and Space Station Gaming, they're both rotating from that eastern side. They're both moving south of Winery. They're contesting for the same spot. So we'll see who is able to come down. Finally, G25 are going to make their rotation as well. Very, very late. They had the longest rotation to go. So they are going to be fighting from the edge of the circle. But everyone at the moment is cramming in to this 50% land mass that we have in this circle. It is a very, very big map, which means that whilst things may look quite close on the mini-maps, they are actually pretty spread out. So they are still, you know, finding those locations, finding those compounds, which I talked about before, Josh, where it's a very heavily compound-based map. So everyone's just finding their little rabbit hole to try and poke their heads out.
So that wild card getting sprayed on here by Ganya. It's Ranger just rotating, scouting it out, trying to find a rotation for his team to come on into the zone. They know that there's quite a few compounds here already occupied. HQA and Grania already shooting off towards them. Ranger may have just found one though, and the rest of Wildcard can make their rotation there now. And I love to see this. It's something that we didn't really see from other regions. Indian region didn't do this very often, very well, John. But this is just pinnacle PUBG performances. You've got your scout going, looking for that compound, and then the rest of the team with a safe journey about 20 to 30 seconds later into their compounds here. High-level plays coming through from some of these top-performing teams over the semifinals group stages. And we'll have to track to see if Wildcard can get a bit better of a performance, because they did go out pretty early on Sanok, but so did a lot of people.
A lot of early fighting going down. Everyone just settling in to their compounds, as we were saying. Everyone's figuring out where's dangerous, where can we go, where can we make those rotations to. G25, they're still very, very far out of this circle. They are going to be going in on the eastern side, and everyone's starting to cluster up just to the south of Dino Park.
I mean, it's absolutely a cluster of colors on the minimap right now, John. So many teams are so contested in a situation here as Method find a knock onto Jagger. Is Seven going to look for the res? It looks like he is going to brave it.
Well, the Pittsburgh Knights, they really want every single member alive that they can get at this stage, because as we saw, they went down relatively early on. I think they got 8 kills coming into the previous game, but only 2 points from placement. They went down in 14th in the last game, so they really need to come up with a little bit better of a scoreline this time around, and every member counts.
Certainly do. The circle's going to start closing very shortly here, John. And it's only G25 who are outside of it right now. Everyone else has managed to find themselves into this phase 2 circle. It's going to the hard shift down south. The question is, do we get a even harder shift into the water here? And if so, then it's going to be Milna, which is the main contention point. That's where a lot of the teams have already set up, which we can show in just a second when we get the minimap up on screen here. Because all of these teams are basically hugging each other. Every compound in this southwest point of the circle currently is occupied. And now it's just a siege game going to come through with all teams trying to head into the center circle. Eventually, teams are going to get basically unlucky with the circle, and they're going to have to push on out.
Yeah, everyone's found their stage at this point. You can see still 63 players alive, so no one's gone down just yet. There were 63 players loaded into the lobby, so no one's gone down. The only team yet to find a position, G25, and they have just entered the circle on that eastern side towards that winery position, so they are going to be holding out around there. But everybody else, they're just holding down a compound. Everyone's found where they're going to go. And actually, I believe there's a care package being zoned out by Space Station Gaming, actually Angry, looking to try and get it on that south side. I don't think we saw what was inside it, but...
Not yet.
He's just
Maybe we can
looking
get
to
a
try and
camera on it on the south care package, see what Angry just got for himself, a bit of a yummy treat, potentially.
I'm not sure if he even got it just yet. I mean, it's still got the white straps around it on the mini-map, so maybe he hasn't looted it just yet. Maybe it's inaccessible. We'll have to wait and see.
Nova are going to try pushing in from the outside of the circle. They're currently set up in Movatra, but they're going to have to try and push on into the circle. We're going to get the shift coming through as phase 1 completes finally. And where will it shift? You expect it to go back up northeast, but no, that's actually very central on its current location, meaning that, again, water going to be occupying it you know, when this happens, it's not really a phase 2 circle anymore.
Dino
it's a phase 3. It's a phase 4 circle based on how much space. Yeah,
Dino
Park
Park
is still in play, John.
Dino Park, Josh. It's Dino Park.
It
We're
could
going
happen.
there.
It could happen. And
What-
currently, Revenants are the ones occupying it.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite? Is my mic still on? I hope it is.
It is. Yeah.
What's your favorite dinosaur?
My favorite dinosaur?
Yeah.
Pterodactyl.
Pterodactyl. That's a good dinosaur.
Yeah.
That's a very good dinosaur.
It's an easy choice.
Yeah? Okay, fair enough. We got some little running around doing a little bit of scree. I hope our mics are still on. Our talkback just cut out, so I don't know if we're still talking, if you guys can still hear us on stream. We're going to hopefully see if you guys can hear us. But G25, they've made that rotation. They're actually going to be trying to send themselves a little bit more central, going to be vying away with Granja del Gaming and HQA as well for a little bit of zone. You can see they've managed to find themselves their compound. They are going to be moving on forwards.
And I mean, the sad thing about Vikendi, from I guess a spectation point of view, is that you don't really get much action in these phase 2 circles. We see that Wi-Fi has actually just picked himself up a Groza as well as the tier 3 armor on that care package out in the water there. It's good for them, but now he has to try and get back up. It looks like Delta Stars could potentially have an overlook into the water there, and maybe Wi-Fi gets isolated. But it is very compound play here on Vikendi.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, the competitive settings for Vikendi probably needs a bit of tweaking over time. It's still the beta map, John, but these early phase circles for me, they feel like they take too long. I would love to see, you know, a bit more speed.
It's the beta map.
It's the beta map. So
It's not the Alpha Chad Orangle.
Alpha Chatterangle. I mean, yeah, it's still a work in progress, but you know, it's a very slow burner, Vikendi, which I think a lot of teams like. You know, that time to really set up and figure it out. As Nova, like we mentioned, they're up north. They're trying to find a entry point into this circle. Ooh. That's a nade coming through from Arcs, and is going to take out Sam. Top fragger for Nova here.
Blinded by wind, just taking the fight with them for now. Earlier down, you can see Parker leaving his compound, but he's just going to get stopped in his tracks there. No one really needs to poke out, and this is the thing. Nova can start to go for these reses. Oh, Beowulf just chilling behind the wall, goes up, goes down, but he isn't going to poke his head out for the take-in just for now. And Nova, they fall back. They're going to go back to their compound, down the hill, and just retreat to a little bit of safety. They get the res. They don't want to lose any players this early on.
You have to wonder what kind of pressure Nova are feeling after a poor performance on Sanok. Coming into the map, they probably feel a little bit more comfortable on. You can see that Wi-Fi actually did get knocked out by Delta Stars there. Flushed out, in fact, going for that care package. A bit of greed pays no dividends for the Pittsburgh Knights. The first member to get flushed out there from them, and that's going to be Delta Stars taking it out. I was a bit worried when I saw the minimap and saw that they had a good overwatch on that care package, and yeah, Pittsburgh Knights do get punished here. The circle continuing to shift south, and so much water still occupying in this phase 3.
So I won't keep doing that, otherwise we'll get copyright.
I mean, wouldn't it be amazing if it starts hard shifting?
Oh, I'm
hoping,
right? I'm sending text to Papa Tencent right now.
Yeah.
Who are obviously developers of PUBG Mobile.
Can Player Unknown set the circles for PMCO, do you reckon?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he has a button.
He has a button,
like
the Dino Park button.
What he does is he sits at home and just like, so all games of PUBG Mobile ever, right? What happens is, it's not RNG.
No.
This is the secret, okay? What happens is, it's Player Unknown. He's sat at a massive desk with thousands of screens, right, on a massive wall. It's like, you know, Syndrome's lair in The Incredibles? Yeah. It's like that, but with loads of PUBG Mobile screens. And he just taps on, you know,
I heard it was just a coaster.
Yeah?
You know, where he puts his tea or drink, and that's the Dino Park button, that's the military base button. And he puts his drink down, just a circle shifts there.
That's a pretty cool idea. I'll have to double check that, actually. I'll see that when we go to...
These facts were checked by no one.
Yeah. Anyway, MK14, can you tell it's really early in the morning?
It's very early, yeah.
But MK14 getting dropped on down towards G25. Should be able to pick that one up pretty decent there. This is something that Toby, actually one of the other commentators from the other regions, absolutely hates, is the tack stock getting dropped in a crate. Because there's no weapon in the crates that uses a tack stock. And it tilts them every single time.
Unlucky for
Oh,
Beowulf
hang on a
there.
minute.
Was one of the only members of Nova who couldn't get out of the compound into safety as the rest of them rotated away from Blinded by Win. And that's going to be them going down, losing a player as they make their rotation out here. Blinded by Win, trying to pop shots over towards Nova. They don't quite know exactly where they are, but they can shoot the vehicles out and make sure Nova don't have good rotational ability away from this area. And Nova are pushing themselves over towards the west, and the only thing on the side of the west is water, so they really don't want to be going this direction that Blinded by Win are forcing them to, as Cotto gets spotted out by Arcs.
Ooh, they have to move. They have to make these rotations. They don't have a vehicle here, and I'm not too sure what they've done with theirs. I saw them moving one around before. I think I might get spotted out, but actually in comes what could be their saviors, Cream. Are going to enter the fray from that eastern flank and going to be starting to pin it down as well. So lucky break potentially for Nova, as Blinded by Win have to take a fight on two fronts.
Blinded by Win, pretty happy currently.
Yeah.
I mean, until the circle forces them out, this is a fantastic compound. Really good sight lines for them at the top of a hill, so they can always shoot down, have that advantage. Milner is where we're currently looking here, and it's G25 setting up in a not as favorable compound. This one's a little bit snaky as far as the sight lines are concerned.
They've got their snake of view as well. Just hiding on out there. Vehicles very, very important on Vikendi, especially for breaching compounds. You need to be able to close that gap as fast as possible. Not only for breaching, but you need to be able to leave your compounds as well. That's the tricky thing with Vikendi, is that you can have a compound and be able to defend it, but if the circle moves away from you, you've got to leave it. And it's very difficult because all of these teams who are in the circle already on these will just be looking at you and seeing what they can get. Oh,
It didn't happen, John.
I'm so disappointed. Honestly, I might just go and have a little cry.
No Dino Park circle here, unfortunately, on phase 4, but it does shift back up towards the north side here, leaving G25, Lights Out, Grania outside of the circle. They're going to have to move on in here, in towards where HQA and Wildcard Are You Scared are currently holding in that south side. The rest of the teams can be a little bit happy that they don't have to do anything tricky to get into this circle. They can continue holding their circles, and unfortunately for G25, who've just spent all this time setting up in this compound, now they have to try and cross the road. Crossing the road, a very dangerous thing, because that's where HQA are holding.
You've got to look both ways. Make sure you hold hands with your mummy or your daddy before you cross the road. That's the rule, isn't it? Green man cross code? That's what we had in the UK. What?
I don't know.
Don't even go there, my friends. I know. Okay, I know what you're thinking, but
Let's do some PUBG commentary, John.
I don't know.
Do you look both ways when you cross the road in Pachinki? Is that what I'm hearing? Is this why we always lose in duos?
No, I think that's... I'm going to blame you on that one, but either way, a couple of flushes actually coming on out Misfits. Again, they have pretty decent position here in the center circle. They're going to be looking to trade on over a little bit of loot as well. You can see they've got themselves a level 3 helmet. Are you scared?
That's
Just trading
really
on.
good nade.
He's looking for it, gets sprayed down very, very quickly with the micro Uzi, but the rest of his team is there. Lights Out looking to push on forwards. One goes down, two go down as well. There's a third party coming in from VN1 as well. They're looking for all of these frags. They're looking to clean up. HP Sama, he's trying to scroll through, trying to find the right nade, but he has to pull out the gun back in the end, and it's only Lucifer standing at the end of this one. VN1 looking to try and pick it up. You can see the rest of Lights Out. They're moving over towards their teammate. Are you scared? They've got someone else somewhere else on the map. Well, they have to get back up just for now. At the moment, they've lost one.
Yeah,
but they're seeing what else can happen. I don't think they're going to be able to get to their teammate.
TJ currently split from the team in a compound by himself, just hiding out in a bathroom, I betcha. Bunkered down. And that's going to be Are You Scared losing the majority of their team here. TJ going to be playing for placement. Lights Out, get everyone rezzed on up. No flushes coming through from VN1. All it would take is a godly nade coming through, and that would be everyone losing their lives there. But unfortunately, that's not going to happen.
That was Jay actually going down as well to VN1. Another circle shift coming in, and Misfits, yet again, they're in the circle. They're getting that good luck that we saw in the group stages in the first day of semis.
Yeah, I mean, Misfits, though, they're making good rotations here. They landed down towards Vienna as we expected, but then they've made this rotation all the way down south to get the center of circle, and it's working out for them.
Yeah, and I mean, but and exactly, because they haven't had to move for the rest of it, so they made that good rotation, and it pays off.
Yep.
This is the value of making sure you have a good position. We saw VN1 do a similar thing, moving in early. They've also managed to claim themselves a decent spot, which means that, of course, they're going to have a little bit of strength moving forwards.
Where's Nova on the map, though? That's the real question. Currently over towards the south, northwest, in fact, coastline. They're going to have to push right through Revenants. They've got blinded by wind coming on their rear here as well. Nova potentially not going to be able to get on into the circle. You hope that they can for their luck here. But right now, it's looking really tough for them. Delta Stars still very much on the very western coast of this circle as well. Method have found themselves in it. Looks like it's going to be G25, Pittsburgh Knights, and Space Station Gaming all crashing into each other. Juicy picking up some kills there, and that's just the Pittsburgh Knights flushed on out, all traveling in a single vehicle, John, and just blown up by Juicy.
That's exactly what happens. They pay the price, and that's the second game in the row. They've gone down very early on. They went down in 14th last time. They're now down in 16th position this time around. That's a disastrous start for one of the teams that we thought were going to have a shout into this. This is two very, very bad games for them. They're going to have to pick up their feet moving forwards, but for now, they have to just sit and think about what they've done.
They certainly do. Rough stuff here for the Pittsburgh Knights. Not getting a good performance on Sanhok, and now Vikendi going out in 16th position here. You can see on the minimap the team spreading out all across the board. Going to be very difficult for Blinded by Wind and Nova, who are currently crashing into each other. And it looks like Nova getting the short end of the stick. Delta Stars finding some frags as well onto Space Station Gaming as they move on in with the circle here.
They are moving forwards. The blue is going to be pushing them in. This is going to be pretty chunky blue. We're into phase 5. You can see the smokes going down. They're trying to go for the res at the moment. Misfits trying to challenge off with Cream, I believe, at the moment. They've got a couple of players. They have the ridge line as well. No one going down just yet. They found Muns. That is going to be the flush coming through. Now they're trying to find Cheeto as well. Xenoth goes up, goes down, spins it around, goes for the spray, and is going to come out on top. Gets the knock. One of the players going down in the back lines, and that is going to be Cream eliminated down in 14th. Yeah,
that was flashy from Xenoth with the jumping mini Uzi spray.
Why not?
Able to find the frags onto Cream there.
Stunting.
Wiping them out, I believe, like you mentioned, John. Now it's wildcard center circle, HQA moving in from the south. Play zone claims Nova. Oh no, 13th position for Nova.
What is going on? This is completely the opposite of what we expected to happen. Remember, Nova, the best performing team on Vikendi on average, 25 points. And Nova? They go down in 13th?
Nova?
This is crazy, yeah.
More like no.
Oh, VAR.
It's just really, really rubbish start to the regional finals for them. Not what you anticipate whatsoever. John's broken. These 5 AM casts not working well for him.
I'll tell you what, when you come out with something like more like no, I feel like I have a reasonable excuse to be a little bit broken as a man, as a human being. You know, that's my excuse. But a couple more teams vying for position at this stage. Misfits will have to move into this next circle. There are teams that will have to move in. A lot of kerfuffle going on down on the southern side as HQA and G25 vie for one of the few compounds left in this next circle.
Yeah, this is a really difficult push for a lot of these teams here. Revenant's going to be making a single vehicle push from the west, right into Method, right into Blinded by Wind. Misfits actually have to make a rotation from the north, and they're going to be pushing into VM1 and Are You Scared? TJ just holding out in a compound by himself, and I can't really expect him to try and take a fight against 2 4-man squads pushing in.
It's interesting that I'm seeing so many micro Uzis this late into the game. I really didn't expect to see it.
It's one of the strongest weapons in PUBG Mobile, John, and it's one thing that a lot of the other regions haven't picked up on yet. It's just the high rate of fire. Of course, in PUBG Mobile, you can be very consistent with your sprays, and you can see it right here from Bucky just showcasing why, as Method get wiped out here by the G25 squad. HQA as well.
The thing with the micro Uzi is it's very limited by range, right? So
but not on PUBG Mobile. PUBG Mobile range isn't much of an issue.
But because in terms of the damage drop-off on the 9mm, it just doesn't have the reach that a lot of these other weapons will have. And it's very good for once you're up towards the compound, but if a team is there, they're going to be able to plink away at you with a DMR, with an M4 or something
Jerry,
like that.
what was that? Jerry's like, I'm just going to 1v3, watch me go, and goes down. It's only Q in the building here. TJ's still bunkered into that bathroom unsuspected at the moment.
This is Misfits, though. They have got the res going on. There's a lot of players in their way at the moment.
Oh my god, run into the bathroom. Do it, I dare you!
Oh my goodness me. If he does, he goes down. If he does, that's it. That's VM1 eliminated.
Do it, he's gonna do it!
He's going in.
Oh,
he's going
no,
in.
he didn't expect it! TJ finds it!
Oh dear.
Misfits won't even know what happened.
Oh my goodness me. Misfits, they will have noticed actually. They will know that VM1 got eliminated, which means that they know that there's someone in this house. They know something about what's going on. They know TJ will be the last player alive for his team, so they might just be a little bit more aware of what is going on. But it doesn't really change their strategy. They still know there's one player in the house, and they have to breach it.
Man, Misfits are just fragging left, right, and center here. That's going to be blinded by Win, knocked out by Zenoff with a spray coming through on a huge 5-kill streak in this Vikendi match here.
Wow.
Phase 7 among us here, John. And still 8 teams remaining. It is going to be Juicy finding a Molotov kill coming through. He got that spray down earlier onto the vehicle and found quite a few kills. Misfits somehow just popping off in this circle here. The only person who can really upset them is TJ, but right now he's chilling in a bathroom, not too worried about doing anything too fancy.
Yeah, see if he can cause Misfits a little bit of an upset, as you say, or if they're going to take their proverbial Pepto-Bismol and settle that one down. That's a North American reference, Josh, you see. We don't have Pepto-Bismol in the UK, but I've been reliably informed it's for any sort of digestive discomfort.
I'm very proud of you, John.
I'm very proud of myself.
Misfits have found themselves into the circle here. Wildcard are holding off Revenants and the Space Station Gaming. G25 still 4 members alive in that squad now, pushing into the south side. With Grania trying to find a way into the circle, but it's going to be very difficult. Is that Space Station Gaming losing their lives on the other side of the circle as Zenoff tries to pop off against Lights Out? It does look like it. Juicy still alive for Space